Okay, so today I'm going to teach you guys how to make a skateboard. So what you'll need first is veneer wood, and it's called veneer wood because of the way it's cut and the way it's treated. But for the wood, there's all sorts of types that they use. Mostly it's maple, but bamboo is usually stronger, so some companies use bamboo and all sorts of other wood. The second thing you'll need is glue, and you can just use like wood glue because it'll work, but you'll need like a really strong glue, and there's some glues that are specifically made for making skateboards. The third thing you'll need is a mold for the skateboard that will later, when I'm explaining the process, will form the concaves and stuff. And fourth, you'll need a press to press the wood together, and I'll talk more about that later as well. And fifth, you'll need a treatment or some sort of protective coating. What companies use is lacquer. Fifth, you can use paint to like make a design on your board. But there's another technique that companies use that I will also talk about in the process. So what you'll first do is you'll take your different sheets of veneer wood. Some are like different stained colors, and you can't just apply the glue yourself to the front and back of the sheet. But there's these things that companies have that are like rollers on top and on bottom. There's like one up there and one down there, and they have glue on them, and so you can just slide the veneer wood through, and it's sort of more easily applied to the wood, and then they stack it up, and typically a skateboard has 7 sheets of veneer on it, but some companies use 8 and maybe even 9, but rarely. But a technique that a lot of companies do is that you would stack things up in patterns of color and stuff as in a stack of 35 wood, and then when you cut the wood, which is the next step, into the shape that you want. After you press the wood in this mold and cut it, the 35 sheets will separate into 7 different sheets because of the way they put it on. So I didn't talk much about the mold and the press, but pretty much there's this machine that has a press, and there's a mold on top and a mold on bottom, and you'll put the 7 sheets of veneer in between the mold and turn the machine on, and it will press it down, and it can take a little while, but after it will be glued, and you just want to let that sit for a little, like some 24 hours, but you can wait like just 2 hours if you want to be quicker with the process. Companies have all sorts of different types of molds, some that are like really hard, but some have sort of soft, so it won't like more like foamy or like rubbery molds, so that when it's compacting the thing, it's not like applying too much pressure, and sort of letting the wood go inside of, like push inside of the wood as well, instead of just like hardly, like it's the way it helps the wood sometimes when the mold's softer. Then after the weight, you would cut the wood and into the shapes you want. There's sometimes tracers that they use, and they just put it under saw. You can probably hand saw it, but it'd be really hard to like get it precise, and it would be a lot slower than like a mechanical saw. And mechanical saw. Then what they use is lacquer to treat the wood, and it's like a protective coating that they put on the wood, and it helps it. If you pour a bucket of water on it, it'll still ruin the board, but like it's like a protective coating for the wood. Like if you just had a plain wood board, it would get a lot more damage than when you have the lacquer. And then one of the last but not least final step is that you'll paint the board, and you could just make a sketch on the board and then paint it with like paint tape and stuff. But there's this machine that companies use, which is again like a roller kind of thing. So there's like it's electric, and there's like a big like cylindrical sort of concrete a thing that is moved around, and they'll slide the board under that. And on top of the board, what they have is this thing that's sort of like a really thin plastic that has like ink on it. And when you put it under this thing, it puts pressure and will roll under this thing. It applies pressure, and there's a heat aspect to it. So it heats the ink onto the board, which makes the design on the board. And then after that, you're pretty much done. But companies have all the different ways to make a board, and this is one of them.